Welcome everyone to the premiere episode of Born This Weird. I'm your host, Jasper. Let me start today with a question that I think almost everyone has asked themselves at some point. Have you ever followed all the advice that is supposed to lead to success? Like work harder, stay disciplined, stick to the plan, only to end up feeling exhausted and out of alignment. We are often taught that if a system isn't working for you, then you're the problem. But what if the opposite is true? What if the real issue is that we're trying to live by a blueprint that was never designed for us in the first place? That brings us to today's conversation on human design. This system offers a unique framework for understanding how we're naturally wired to make decisions, use our energy, and move through life. Joining me today is the beautiful, talented, and smart Candice Reyes, who will help us explore how understanding your design can lead to a greater self awareness, stronger relationships, and a more aligned path in life. Candice, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Yes, hi Jasper. I'm happy to be here. I'm so excited.
All right, as I said, thank you for joining. I'm really also excited to learn more from you about this topic, which is the human design. So let's start with demystifying the blueprint for the foundations. Candice, for someone who is looking at their chart for the very first time and seeing this wild map of shapes, lines, and numbers, how do you explain human design simply without overwhelming them?
I would describe human design as a tool for self understanding. It's about understanding your unique energy, how you're designed to make decisions, interact with others, and navigate life. It also looks at how your energy impacts the people around you and how you're also influenced by their energy.
Oh, nice. That's simple. It sounded like simple. That I guess we can still like talk more about it. Maybe in the future or maybe while we progress at this discussion today. But that's a very brief and a very good explanation of it.
Yeah.
Um, um by the way, what makes this system so fascinating is how it bridges two seemingly opposite worlds. So the ancient esoteric system like astrology and the Qing, alongside with modern concept and quantum physics, how do these two worlds actually connect to map out our specific energy?
To be honest, I'm no expert yet on human design. My knowledge is still pretty surface level, which is also true about my knowledge in astrology. But when I first started learning about human design, I found it overwhelming because, as you said, it's connected to so many different systems like I Ching and quantum physics. But to answer your questions on how these systems connect to mapping out our specific energy, I may not know the answer because what helped me understand human design was treating it as its own thing. Like I knew it borrowed ideas from those other systems, but separating it in my mind made it much easier to understand. So, at the very basic level, you've got your design traits and your body graph in human design. The body graph is essentially a map of how your energy is said to move through you, through gates that connects to other gates via channels. This is basically the chakras. Ito yung mga chakras. And honestly, there are a lot of numbers because there's a lot of gates. Each gate has a corresponding number to it, and each channel has a specific name. So there is a lot to memorize more than my brain is prepared to do. So I looked at my chart, and what I did is just try to read it and find accuracy of the patterns I recognized in myself. So, for example, I'm a generator. The idea that I thrive when responding to things that genuinely excite me made sense for me. My sacral authority's emphasis on trusting my gut response also made sense. The frustrations I experienced when I ignored those instincts
Mm,
also made sense. Um, but we'll talk about that probably later on.
mm,
The design traits, which those things that I just mentioned, being a generator and having a sacral authority, those are part of design traits. And that is easier for me to grasp than the body graph. And that's usually where I start explaining human design to friends. As I just tell them basically to imagine your life as a movie.
mm.
'Di ba? Yes, because it's the easiest way I could share it. Like, maging delusional ka na lang. Imaginein mo artista ka, 'di ba, ganyan. And but I have to clarify that with human design, it isn't necessarily telling you what's gonna happen in a movie. Hindi siya ganon. It's more like helping you understand the character you're playing, how you're meant to move through the plot, what challenges you're likely to face, and the kind of story you're naturally built for. So the deeper question of whether the map is describing real energetic phenomenon, a symbolic system, or just some combination of both, that's something that I'm still exploring.
Nice, nice one. So basically, if someone would like to interpret their chart, they think of it as um like as it's their life's movie or something like that. A love
Yes,
story.
that's what I would say. Um, that's how I would describe the design traits part,
Mm.
the easiest. Just imagine your life as a movie. You have the type, which is my type was a generator, and how you make decisions, which is your authority and strategy. So that's how I would probably explain it best.
You would usually print out the chart, right? And the definition. Um you provide the person like asking you to build them the graph, you provide them with the paperwork, right?
Yeah,
Um that's a great thing. The hardest part is interpreting it, but
correct.
since we explained it,
Yeah.
just think of it like a movie, just
Mhm.
like a movie. Maybe it will help some of us.
Yeah.
Because of that, I'm going to review the chart that you made me before. So, um, I always love hearing the aha moment. What was your first reaction when you discovered your own chart? And what was the first major tangible change you've made in your life because of it?
Well, as you said, I don't actually build the chart myself. I actually pay for an app to do that. I pay it annually, and I use that as well to check my own human design because I couldn't memorize my body graph. There's just too many gates, channels, and numbers. But as I mentioned earlier, I am a generator. That's the type, which is part of human design. And if I remember correctly, generators make up around 70% of the world's population. There's also a subtype called manifesting generator, but let's not talk about that yet or not today because we'll be here all night if I have to explain it. But just to give you an insight, the way I made sense of being a generator was by thinking about an actual generator. What does a generator do? Diba? It produces energy. It creates power that can be
Mm,
used to keep things running. Kung brown out sa bahay and wala kang generator, di you have to wait bago ma-restore yung energy. Whereas if may generator ka, then kahit mag-brown out, tuloy-tuloy pa din ang ano, 'di ba? So gano'n. According to human design, gano'n ang role ng generator. We're supposedly here to generate sustainable energy through the
Mhm.
things that genuinely excite us, satisfies us, or light us up. Yun yung kailangan mong matandaan if you're a generator like me. Gen Basically, if I'm gonna go back to the movie analogy I mentioned earlier, being a generator helped me understand what motivates my character. Every good story has moments where the main character feels alive, engaged, and pulled towards something. Then there are moments where they're forcing themselves down a path that was never really theirs. So for me, human design was basically saying, pay attention to those moments. The idea is that when we're doing things we're actually meant to be doing, we have access to this seemingly endless source of energy. And honestly, whether that's human design or just common sense, I could relate to it. When I'm excited about something, I can spend hours on it without realizing time has passed. But when I'm
Mhm.
forcing myself to do something that doesn't feel right, suddenly wala ako sa mood, wala akong gana, kailangan ko matulog, kailangan ko muna magpahinga or whatever. Basta para na akong nagpo-procrastinate, parang ganun yung nangyari. Like I push back some of my tasks kasi hindi ako interesado sa kanila basically. But going back to being a generator, one thing that really resonated with me was the idea that you can almost feel your energy responding in your body. Yung strategy ko nga and authority as mentioned earlier is tied to the sacral. Itong sacral, it's part of your body graph.
Mhm.
It's one of the centers. So sa akin, centers, isa siya sa defined center ko, yung sacral, which is located, if I remember correctly, is sa puson siya connected or
Sa abdomen, no?
yes, it just basically means my decision making process is connected to my gut
Mhm.
response. Not logic, not overthinking, not making pros and cons list. Hindi ganon. Like how I make decisions is tied to my gut response. Parang ganon siya. It's about paying attention to that immediate feeling in your body, that instinctive
Mhm.
parang yan, which means yes or which means no. Mararamdaman mo yun talaga if generator ka may gano if you're a generator with a defined, sacral center or lalo na kung yun yung ano mo, strategy and authority, you can almost hear that sound through dun sa gut mo nga. You can feel it and then almost feeling redirected to say yes or no to something. And the way I translate it is if excited ako, then I should say yes. If hindi ako excited, as much excited na parang, meh, wala akong pakialam sa kanya, that is a no. Ganun ko siya nata-translate, yung mga energies na yon. And if I think about it through that movie lens again, the sacral is almost like the director behind the scenes. My mind is constantly my mind is constantly trying to rewrite the script, predict the ending, and analyze every possible plot twist. Meanwhile, my body is just sitting there going this way or not that way. I don't know if it makes sense. The interesting part is that, according to human design, this guidance system works best in response to something. It's not about forcing things to happen or constantly
Oh.
chasing opportunities. It's about responding to what's already showing up in front of you and noticing how your body reacts.
So, basically may malaking nagbago sa life mo since you've been following your human design.
Yeah.
At what point in that journey did you have to confront the idea that maybe putting yourself first or being perceived as selfish was actually a necessary part of your alignment?
So, one of the biggest things human design changed for me wasn't even the energy, wasn't even the chakra stuff. It was my perspective on self prioritization. So that's what I learned. So what I changed is growing up, I think a lot of us were taught that putting yourself first is selfish, right? That being a good person means constantly sacrificing for others, saying yes when you want to say no, and making yourself smaller just to keep everyone comfortable. Human design didn't invent self love, but it gave me a permission to ask a question I wasn't asking before. What if choosing myself isn't selfish? What if it's necessary? And honestly, that shift changed a lot for me. I'm still working on it. I still do have my people pleasing tendencies, but it knowing about human design probably progressed um my self prioritization mindset faster now that I know about human design. Like I started giving myself more grace. I stopped treating every decision like a moral test. I became less concerned with what everyone else expected from me and just I just became more interested in what actually felt right for me.
How did the people around you react to the sudden shift as you began discovering who you really were?
Well, if you're expecting na may big reaction, there's none. I guess because nothing much has changed with my personality. If anything, I became calmer. But if I'm gonna try to dig deep to your question, how did my new perspective on self prioritization impacted the people around me? I don't know for sure, but as I said, people's perspective on self prioritization tend to lean on being selfish nga, 'di ba? And I have heard comments before. I still hear it sometimes from family that I should be more responsible, magkaroon ng utang na loob, give back, be more like your sister or your cousins. And hearing those made me put pressure on myself. Hindi man nila 'yon napapansin because I did have this image sa kanila na I'm very cool or parang walang pakialam, but I did pressure, myself. I did get stressed, like, deep down, like, I wanna be those people for you guys. I wanna be that responsible, someone who you can rely on. Kasi nga before human design, I felt like maybe I am being selfish for choosing myself a lot, sleeping anytime I want, or choosing not to bond with others as an introvert and dropping out of college kasi trip ko lang or whatever. But that's another story for another time.
Nice, nice. It sounded like it's very helpful for many of us then nag-overthink. What I love about this is that it isn't just about self-study. It completely changes how we view the people around us. In psychology, there's a concept called the fundamental attribution error. So it's a cognitive bias where we assume someone else is lacking off, being difficult, or acting out on purpose rather than realizing they just process situations differently. It makes us judge instead of understand.
Yeah, love that.
Yes. So,
Mm.
how does understanding your own design and critically the design of your partner, kids, or coworkers help interrupt the bias, that bias, and dramatically reduce friction and conflict?
Um, there's this quote that I love, but I just don't remember who said it. And quote is your perception of me is a reflection of you. My reaction
Mm.
to you is an awareness of me. So to me, that's exactly where human design becomes useful, not just for understanding yourself, but for understanding the people around you. A lot of conflict happens when we assume everyone thinks, feels, decides, and process life the same way we do. So, simula nung malaman ko yung human design, siguro I become more understanding of people. So, halimbawa nga, generator ako, 'di ba? I tend to trust my gut and move toward things that excite me. If I see someone behaving differently, my first instinct is to interpret their actions through my lens. Sa, 'di ba? But then I look at you, you're a reflector.
Mm,
Knowing your design helps me understand certain things about you that I might have judged differently before. So, for example, halimbawa ikaw, 'di ba? For example, if someone disappoints you or breaks your trust, you tend to form a very strong conclusion about that person. Tama, mali.
tama.
You're not,
Yes.
you're,
Ba't
you're
ako
not
inaatake mo?
you're not necessarily impulsive, but once you've made up your mind, you're pretty firm about it, 'di ba?
Mm,
But understanding your design helps me see something else. It helps me understand that you're constantly taking in and reflecting your environment. So when someone repeatedly shows you who they are, you're not just reacting to one moment, you're reacting to a pattern you've observed.
yeah.
Now, whether that conclusion is always right is another conversation. But the point is, I'm no longer assuming you're operating the same way I do. And I think that's where a lot of friction disappears. The same thing applies in relationships, parenting, friendships, and workplaces. Maybe your partner needs more space than you do. Halimbawa, sa relationship, in my own relationship,
Mm,
I'm the kind of partner na I need space. Like, leave me alone. Parang
mm,
that doesn't mean that I love you less. I just my own feelings, I need time, and I had to communicate that to my partner na
mm,
medyo papansin. I mean, energetic siya, loving siya, but I need to explain that to him na I need space, and
mm,
gano'n yung nangyari sa'min na, I want you to have your own thing, and I want you to let me have my own thing. And hindi naman kami magtatagal ng 12 years kung hindi kami nagkaintindihan do'n. So, eventually,
nice.
yes, nagkaintindihan din naman kami, 'di ba? So, for me, without understanding those differences, it's easy to label people as difficult, lazy, stubborn, emotional, or detached, or unreliable. But human design doesn't magically solve every conflict, but it helps interrupt that immediate judgment. Yun yung ginawa sa akin ng human design. It made me pause and ask, am I reacting to who this person actually is? Or am I reacting to my expectation of who I think they should be? And I think that's
Mm,
where the real value is, because the moment you stop expecting everyone to be like you become a lot more curious about who they actually are.
dapat kasi tinuturuan psychologist sa high school din 'yan
Ayan.
para maaga to be honest, parang matanda na ako na nagkakaroon ng ganitong mga study or ganitong mga discussion about human behavior. So, it's really helpful to me at this point. Yeah. By the way, without going into deep into the weeds just yet, what
Mm.
are the core ways human design shows us that people process energy differently? Like, why are some people built with seemingly endless energy and why others naturally need frequent rest just to function? It's like me, I'm so tamad. I
Yeah,
always want to rest.
I'm like that as well. But this is where human design started getting really interesting for me, because it gave me a different way of looking at energy. In the traditional sense, ito nga yung kakasabi mo lang, we usually think of energy as something physical. How much sleep you got, what you ate, whether you exercised. And obviously, those things matter. But human design suggests that people aren't designed to use energy in the same way. For example, ulit, diba? Generator nga ako. Generators are often described as having access to sustainable life force energy, especially when they're engaged in things they genuinely enjoy or feel lit up by. That's why some people can spend 10 hours working on a project they're passionate about and somehow still have energy afterwards, diba? But even among
Oo.
generators, that doesn't mean we're energizer bunnies. Ako nga, I gave myself an example as well in response to you. Hindi ako energetic na tao. Put us in the wrong job, the wrong relationship, or a life that constantly drains us and will burn out just like anyone else. And kanina din na sinabi ko, di ba? To think na 70% of the world's population are generators. And if you look around you, mukha bang ang daming
Mm.
energetic, 'di ba? Lahat tayo burnt out in a way.
Mhm.
So, it's lalo na yung mga yun, konti lang yung may alam sa human design. So, that's what I'm saying. Ako na-discover ko yung human design during pandemic and even now I'm still trying to um harness the energy within me or listen
Mm.
to the triggers or whatnot. And that's where I think a lot of people get into trouble because we assume that everyone should be able to work, socialize, create, and live at the same pace. Kasi puro comparing nga, comparison sa iba, yun nga yung ano dun eh. I'm comparing myself sa friend ko, sobrang sumasahod na ng 100K per
Mm.
month, 'di ba? Kabatch ko lang 'to, eh, parang ganyan. Bakit ako hindi bakit wala pa ako sa level na yun na like you're trying to find ways, like a shortcut, almost like that na iba-iba nga tayo ng journey, iba-iba tayo ng
Mm.
genre ng movie, iba-iba tayo, 'di ba? Iba-iba tayo ng design. So, another layer of this is the profile line. So, we talked about the types. Yung type ko, generator, type mo, reflector, and we've talked about the authority and strategy. My authority is sacral, and
Mm.
my strategy is to respond. Um, and now we can talk about briefly, I'll just talk about it briefly, the profile lines. This is where you get the archetypes. Tayong dalawa, if I remember correctly, we have the same profile lines. We're investigator, martyr. So it's the energy of that line is more of trial and error. Ganon. But there are also profile lines or archetypes like hermit. As the word itself, paano mo ba may imagine yung hermit? Hermit crab, 'di ba? Like it's in a shell. It's an animal
Mm.
basically in his house or something. Like for example, for a person with line 2 profile or the hermit, they often need regular periods of retreat. They're not antisocial, they're just designed to step away from the noise so they can reconnect
Oh.
with themselves and their natural talents. So, if you constantly force a hermit to be available, social, and on all the time, they can end up feeling drained without understanding why. Compare that to someone, which again, halimbawa, tayo nga, investigator, martyr. Compare that to someone whose profile naturally learns through trial and error, networking, or interacting with lots of different people. They may actually gain energy from experiences that would completely exhaust a hermit. So, iba-iba talaga.
Parang ako yan, yung palaging gusto lang sa bahay.
Well, I Feeling ko din nga nakaka-relate din ako sa pagiging hermit, but we're not hermits.
Okay.
We're in ang core natin, pinaka-core natin is we're investigator, martyr. Pero I guess there are parts of our body graph, yun na nga
Um,
yung mga gates and channels na may hermit line, may hermit energy.
yeah.
Yeah, which is why we can also relate sa pagiging hermit.
Got it, got it. So this brings us straight to the epidemic of modern burnout. Na-mention mo yung maraming beses yung about burnout. In organizational psychology, the person environment fit theory proves that severe psychological burnout happens when there's a fundamental misalignment between a person's internal wiring and their environment. When we force a mismatch, we face emotional exhaustion. Yet society tells us to hustle through it.
Mhm.
What can you say about it?
Well, I kind of agree with that. I think that's what so far have already talked about. It's how comparing yourself to others, not just yung physicality of it
Mm,
all, but yung idea of what success looks like, right? Pinalaki tayo, we're like conditioned that the more
yung
uh
pinsan mo, ganyan.
yes, bakit siya ganito, bakit ikaw hindi mo kaya ganyan. We're basically conditioned growing up na be this, be that, be like that. Na even yung pagiging resilient ng mga Pinoy, for example, na just smiling through the pain sa mga ganyang etc. It's being, I would say, um, glamorized na why do we have to suffer? Anong pagiging, I don't know, I can't explain it, but merong ini-instill sa atin at such a young age that we should live our life this way. But we shouldn't be doing that kasi um we're supposed to live our lives the way we want. Like going back dun sa sinabi ko na imagine your life is a movie. Can you imagine na we're na lahat tayo are living the same
Pare-parehas
movie, right?
yung script.
So, I would say I agree I agree with that. Nakadepende talaga sa environment, energy na what other people tells you and paano mo nare-receive yun. That's what I said the first yung as to put what human design is in simplest terms is yun nga, the energy you give out and the
Mm.
energy that your surroundings or environment gives you, paano ka naimpluwensyahan, gano'n.
Hindi kasi nakikinig, eh, 'no. Shabs okay. So, from an energetic standpoint, which sabi mo hindi ka energetic, but what do you think of those energetic people? What are we doing wrong? What are they doing wrong when they try to force them like, we try to force ourselves to hustle like everyone else? How do we resolve that internal conflict when we feel the pressure to constantly keep up with the crowd? I don't know if you have like a pointer here, but someone that is not energetic,
Mm.
like we're not energetic. So, what do you think of those people? Like, how do they resolve this conflict within themselves?
Well, I think one of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming that success has a universal rhythm. Ito na nga yung sinasabi ko
Oh,
kanina. But we're constantly being shown one model of success. Okay?
mm,
Galaw-galaw din, be productive, always have a plan, always be building something. But from human design perspective, not everyone is designed to operate that way.
mm,
'Di ba? Ako nga, generator. Somehow, I can still relate sa hustle culture to some extent because I do have access to a lot of energy. I have access to a lot of energy. Iba yung I have access to using it, 'di ba?
mm,
Kaya parang burnt out pa din naman ako or I'm tired all the time is yun na nga yung problema, 'di ba? That I'm trying to still explore on how I can harness the energy better.
mm,
So I do have access to a lot of energy when I'm excited. about something. But even then, the keyword nga is excited.
Mm.
The moment I'm forcing myself to keep up with everyone else, I become disconnected from my own response. So I think that's where the conflict starts. We're no longer listening to ourselves, we're comparing ourselves. So, another example is how hustle culture can amplify our traumas in a way. For example, your genetic trauma, this is real. I'm gonna pull from your chart. Your genetic trauma is rejection, while mine is suppression. So even if, say, we're experiencing the same external pressure, we're probably internalizing it very differently. So for someone with rejection, the pressure to keep up can sound like, if I don't perform, if I don't succeed, if I don't prove my value, people won't choose me. So, ganun ka daw.
Or validation.
Yes.
Ganun from
Whereas,
mag-outsource ka. Ah,
correct, 'di ba? Like you're looking for validation outside. Like you're always trying to prove yourself.
yep.
But for me, halimbawa, ako naman, suppression naman yung trauma ko. The pressure sounds more like, don't rock the boat. Don't be too much. Don't say what you really think. Just keep
Oh,
it in and keep going. And what's interesting in that, both patterns can lead to the same outcome. We end up living for other people's expectations instead of our own truth. So when hustle culture says go harder, do more,
mm,
keep up, someone with rejection might push harder because they want validation or
mm,
acceptance. And someone with suppression might push harder because they've learned to ignore their own needs, instincts, or boundaries. I'm guilty of that. I'm still like that. On the surface, we're doing the same thing, but underneath, we're being driven by completely different fears. That's why I don't think the answer is simply to hustle less, like chill, wag kang magtrabaho. I think the answer is awareness. Human design asks us to notice what is actually driving this decision. Is it excitement? Is it alignment? Or is it fear?
oh,
Remember the fear,
mm,
'di ba? So as a generator with sacral authority, one thing I've had to learn is that suppressing yung fear ko nga, yung trauma ko, suppressing my response doesn't make it disappear. If my God says no and I say yes anyway para lang ma-please yung ibang tao,
mm.
eventually my body lets me know. I become frustrated, drained, resentful, or disconnected. Nakikita mo yung pattern. Kaya ako laging pagod because I still have people-pleasing tendencies. And maybe that's what internal conflict really is, the distance between what we know is true for ourselves
Mm.
and the choices we're making to satisfy everyone else. So, for me, resolving that conflict isn't about becoming more productive. It's about becoming more honest about what excites me, honest about what doesn't, honest about where I'm still suppressing myself. And maybe for someone with rejection, it's about being open to the possibility that you don't need to earn your place by constantly proving yourself. Because maybe, friend, I'm here already enough. Maybe the
Oh.
crowd isn't the thing you need to keep up with. And maybe the real challenge is keeping up with yourself.
Anyway, how can knowing your specific blueprint charas, how can knowing your specific blueprint completely change the practical way someone looks at their day-to-day job, their business, or their personal definition of productivity? Alam ko na na-touch
Oh,
data
yeah.
kanina. So dahil hindi nga ako nakikinig. Cheers.
Okay, eto nga. So,
Charot.
I think it's the same question, yeah, because once you understand your blueprint, whether through
Mm.
human design, personality frameworks, or just years of self awareness, the biggest shift is that you stop fighting yourself. Now, eto nga
Sarili
kanina
mo lang yung kalaban.
yes, exactly. Yun nga yung sinasabi ko, I'm still learning that. Like hindi pa din talaga ako expert or hindi medyo madami pa din akong medyo mahirap i-unlearn yung years of how I was conditioned either through by my parents, by school friends or whatever, by the books that I read or the movies that I watch. Madami pa akong kailangan ni-unlearn and just focus on what I actually feel inside. Yun nga yun, the struggle with it all the time. Halimbawa ito, I struggle with what I'm feeling or what being practical you said or being productive. I still struggle with it all the time because I get distracted very easily by things that excite me. Halimbawa, itong podcast. This podcast is actually a great example because when we agreed to do this, I immediately wanted to prepare for it.
Oh,
I started taking notes, revisiting my chart,
ano ba yan?
thinking,
Sorry.
yes, thinking about the possible questions. And before I knew it, I had pushed a bunch of my other tasks aside because they felt way less interesting. Diba? And even though that's very generator of me following what energizes me, I
Mm.
still catch myself thinking, wait, is this genuine excitement or again am I just procrastinating? Because we all have this idea of what productivity is supposed to look like, diba?
Mm.
So even when I'm operating in a way that feels natural to me, there's still a voice in the back of my head saying, this is a distraction. You should be doing something else. So I don't know if that voice ever completely goes away, but I've learned to give myself more grace. I trust myself a little more now.
Mm.
And I still need structure. I still need discipline. And to be
Of
clear,
course.
we're literally recording this at the office. 'Di ba? Buti na lang tapos na yung shift natin. Kung kanina natin ni-record, 'di ba? But I've learned that productivity isn't always linear. Beyond that, human design helped me realize that not everyone thinks, communicates, or works the same way I do. And honestly, that's probably one of the oldest lesson in the book even outside of human design. Just don't assume everyone shares your perspective. Don't assume everyone is motivated by the same things. Don't assume your way is the only way. When you're working with other people, you learn how to listen. You have to learn how to cooperate. You have to learn when to lead, when to contribute, and when to step back. One thing I've also learned is that not every opportunity to help is actually an invitation. Maybe dito pares tayo, 'di ba? It's the investigator martyr profile talking.
Mm.
But I'm very comfortable figuring things out on my own. If there's something I don't know, I'll research it. If I hit a wall, I'll experiment. If I genuinely need help, I'll ask for it. And that realization made me extend the same courtesy to other people. Not everyone wants advice the moment they're struggling. Not everyone wants to be rescued.
Mm.
Sometimes people are in their own process of learning, making mistakes, and finding their own answers.
Okey ako yun.
'Di ba? Ganun nga din ako, 'di ba? So, diyan kami palaging medyo hindi nagkakaroon ng misunderstanding ni Patricia, my sister who I love. Kasi mahilig kasing tumulong si Patricia. She likes to solve problems and sometimes I just want to open up na nagsa-struggle ako but not necessarily mean that I need you to solve my problems. So minsan dun kami nagkakaroon ng misunderstanding. But anyway, para sa akin yun yung naituro sa akin ng human design nga, 'di ba? Yun yung practical way I would say human design changed me. That is again to stop forcing things. Stop forcing opportunities. Stop forcing relationships.
My God,
Stop forcing solutions. Stop
delete ang
for-
grinder.
correct. Stop forcing people to learn lessons they're not ready to learn, 'di ba?
Yeah.
If I need help, I'll ask. And I've learned to trust that other people will do the same. If kailangan nila ako, they'll go to me and ask for my help, 'di ba?
Mm.
If an opportunity is right for you, you'll feel the response. 'Di ba mararamdaman ko yun na, "Oh,
Mm.
ito yung opportunity, excited ako, gusto kong sabihing yes." Then I would say yes. And if a collaboration works, eto kagaya ng podcast na 'to, there will be mutual energy there. So I'm hoping we're both excited doing this, 'di ba? Yung ako
Ay,
lang.
I'm so excited na matapos na natin. Charis. Okay. Okay. So this is where I think human design completely flips the conventional wisdom on its head. We are taught from childhood to make major life decisions using our
Hmm,
minds. Parang sabi, gamitin mo yung mga utak mo, something like that.
hmm.
I mean, kung ginaganon ko ng parents mo. Anyway,
Yeah,
analyzing pros and cons list. But human design argues that the mind is actually the worst place to make life choices.
correct.
This actually aligns perfectly with neuroscience. Antonio Damasio's somatic marker hypothesis proved that when people lose the connection to the emotional or physical gut signals in their body, which palaging nangyayari sa akin, even if their logical mind is perfectly intact, they become completely incapable of making basic decisions. They get paralyzed by endless logic loops. Meanwhile, studies in science show that for complex life decisions, people who rely on unconscious, intuitive processing make far better long-term choices than those who strictly use analytical thought list. What do you say?
Yeah, ang dami mong sinabi dun, ah. Um, if I'm gonna look at it through the lens of human design, I can somewhat agree that not all life decisions can be solved through analytical pros and cons. The mind, which is one of the centers in our body graph, it's great for processing information, but it can also get stuck in overthinking, worries, and endless what ifs. That said, I also don't think intuition should automatically win. In my favorite book, which by the way I have here in my hand, You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Jen Sincero. She talks about how much of our behavior is driven by the subconscious mind. The challenge is that our subconscious can be filled with old fears, limiting beliefs, and conditioning that we're not even aware of. Let me just flip through this book, and okay, here. I'll just read this. Number 1, she said, our subconscious mind contains the blueprint for our lives. It's running the show based on the unfiltered information it gathered when we were kids, otherwise known as our beliefs. Number 2, we are, for the most part, completely oblivious to these subconscious beliefs that run our lives. Number 3, when our conscious minds finally develop and show up for work, no matter how big and smart and highfalutin they grow to be, they're still being controlled by the beliefs we're carrying around in our subconscious minds. Our subconscious mind thinks it's in control, but it isn't. Our subconscious mind doesn't think about anything, but is in control. And I love that. Lalo na ngayon, let's say, our parents and their parents, you get what I mean? Our parents, their parents, whatever. They could have beliefs based on how they were um raised by their parents, or where they grew up in, the environment they grew up in, the schools they went to, and tayo sa modern age with social media and everything, can you imagine, naging mas vast yung influence to us. So sometimes what feels like intuition might actually be fear wearing a different outfit. Going back dun lang, sa previous kanina mong question, The real goal is learning to tell the difference between genuine inner knowing and subconscious programming. Analytical thinking, kagaya ng sinabi mo, analytical thinking does have a place because it helps us question our assumptions. While yung intuition natin, it can help us access insights that logic alone may miss, 'di ba? So if you to answer your question, the best long-term decisions probably come from a balance of both.
Tamang desisyon, whether it's from the subconscious or the conscious. Kasi I believe na wala talagang right or wrong when making a decision. Um, but you're designed to follow a certain pattern. Um, do you look to parang uncover your subconscious?
Uh, no. If there's anything that I've learned, it's yung growth is painful. So,
Yeah, yep,
yeah, so kaya nga may growing pains, 'di ba? Yung
yeah.
term na growing pains. Yung there's a lot na yung kailangan mong baguhin and that's gonna be painful. Lahat na kailangan mo i-unlearn. That's going to old habits, ano yun? Old habits die hard or something like that na medyo mahirap siyang i-break. And if it's difficult, it's gonna hurt. So para sa akin, um, yun yung kailangan kong 'cause yung question mo kasi I'm not the expert in that kasi that's still the part that I'm trying to learn myself, 'di ba? Na akin, um, yung part na yun yung akin kailangan ko siyang kailangan kong tanggapin. Yun nga, kailangan kong tanggapin na kasi lagi lagi ko din kausap yung sarili ko, eh. Like, I'm also trying to, um
Baka mag-away kayo, ah.
I'm still trying to therapize, if that's
Tama.
even a term, myself sometimes. And grabe yung ang dami kong alam alam ko na, eh. Like, I already know what I have to do in this scenario.
Hmm.
And I just hold on to stuff because that's what's comfortable for me. Yung parang or it's hard for me to let go or to unlearn things and like I said, people pleasing tendencies like yung trauma ko of suppression that I'd rather keep the peace than tawag dun, to even actually voice out or set boundaries. That's the part where I struggle and I'm still learning. So I'm not the person that I can give advice to, but halimbawa, I guess if I'm really gonna have to answer that, the tricky question, that's a tricky question, but it's different nga kasi for everyone. If ito
Mm.
na lang, for some reason, nandito na tayo sa pang-ilang question, but for the listeners out there, if you want to check your chart, you'll need your birth date, birth time and place of birth para makapag-generate kayo ng ano nyo. Para malaman nyo yung type, authority, profile, whatever. But baka sa part 2 na yun ng ano ni
Ah,
Jasper here.
oh,
But, so halimbawa, okay, halimbawa, generator nga ako with sacral authority. One of the
hmm.
biggest lessons for me was realizing that my body often knows before my mind does. 'Di ba 'yan yung
Oh,
sinasabi mo kanina, yung bakit mahirap why is it more successful when we use our
body.
unconscious mind, 'di ba, parang gano'n sinasabi mo, 'di ba? So yung lesson sa'kin, if something excites me, I usually feel it physically. I feel more energized, more curious, more engaged. And if something is a no, I also can feel that physically. My energy drops. I start overthinking. I procrastinate. I try to convince myself that I should want it, even though my gut is already saying otherwise. The challenge is that my mind loves to debate with my body. My body says no. My mind says, yes, but think about the salary. No, sahod,
Mm.
di ba? Mas taas ang offer dyan. But my body says, still no, di ba? And that's where a lot of paralysis comes from. For someone like you, halimbawa, you're a reflector, the process is different. Reflectors aren't necessarily designed to make immediate decisions. Think of that. Hindi ka dapat pala decision. Their clarity is often comes from giving themselves time, observing their environment, talking things through, and noticing how something feels over a longer period. So kung akin snap decision, ikaw, you need to take time before you make decision.
Mm.
So if I copied your process, I'd probably end up overthinking. And if you copied mine, you might feel rushed. That's why I think human design helps people reconnect with their body, not because it tells you what decision to make, but because it teaches you where your decision making wisdom is likely to come from. For some people, it's a gut response. For others, it's emotional clarity
Mm.
over time. For others, it's talking things out. So the common thread is that the answer isn't always in your mind, 'di ba? Most of us have spent years treating our minds like the CEO of our lives.
Mm.
Kagaya nga yung subconscious mind pa natin talaga when sometimes it's just the loudest employee in the room, 'di ba? It's not the CEO,
Oh.
bida-bida, 'di ba? So, human design encourages us to pay attention to the signals we're already getting from our bodies
Mm.
and our lived experience. And whether you believe in human design or not, I think that's a valuable practice because if you've ever had a moment where everything looked right on paper but felt wrong in your gut, then you've already experienced what it's like when the mind and body
Oh.
disagree. Yeah.
Wow. It's a beautiful like explanation
Yeah.
and discovery that I could use in the future as well. So given how paradigm shifting this is, what is the biggest misconception or trap people fall into when they first start studying and trying to live their human design?
Eto, sobrang guilty ako dito. I think the biggest trap is using human design as an excuse or treating it like a rule book. I can't do that because I'm a generator, or I can't do that because I'm a hermit. I can't do that because my chart says so. No. Human design should help you understand yourself, not limit yourself. So, I'm gonna give the example nung eto nga na-invite ako to join the Career Performance team, 'di ba?
Mm.
So, at the time, I was in TCT and honestly, I didn't want to leave. Everyone kept telling me it was
Mm.
a great opportunity. I'd learn a lot. It would be good for my career. And maybe this is the Aquarius in me. So astrology. But I genuinely enjoyed being in TCT because there were so many broken processes and systems
Mm.
that needed fixing, and feeling ko ako yung magiging savior and
Mm.
aayos ng lahat ng to. I wasn't burdened by the work. I really liked it. I actually liked it. So, when the opportunity came up na ito nga malipat ako sa career performance, my initial reaction wasn't excitement. It was more like, why would I leave? There's still so much to improve dito sa
Mm.
TCP. Then eventually I found myself moving into career performance anyway. I didn't really get a dramatic moment where I sat down and said, "Yes, this is exactly what I want." I was just suddenly there in our team. And at the beginning, I remember thinking, na-share ko pa to sa TL ko sa TCT, shout out TL SOC.
Mm,
At at the beginning, I remember thinking, "Here we go again." Parang sinabi ko na, here we go again. This is my old pattern saying yes to things that don't excite me because
mm,
everyone else thinks it's a good opportunity."
mm.
Ganun yung ano ko.
We're so
If
sorry.
if if I had been rigid about human design, I could have used that as proof that I was making the wrong decision.
Mm,
I could have said, well, my sacral didn't light up immediately or I wasn't excited. So
mhm,
this clearly isn't for me. But that's not what happened. Once I got here in the STEAM and career performance, I actually enjoyed it. I learned a lot. It challenged me. It expanded my perspective. And looking back, I'm glad that it happened. Diba? That's why I think human design becomes dangerous when we use it
mm,
to predict our future or avoid new experiences. Sometimes you don't know whether you'll love something until you're
mm.
actually in it, diba? Human design can help you understand your patterns, but life is still meant to be lived. You're still allowed to be surprised. You're still allowed to change your mind. You're still allowed to discover that an opportunity you weren't excited about at first can turn out to be exactly what you needed. So for me, that's the real lesson. Human design should make you more curious about yourself. Again, yourself, not more certain about your limitations.
Wow. So what I'm thinking is that um trying supersedes human design in making big life decisions. Because have you not tried, you will not like it here, right?
Yeah.
Human design is just a guide and
Mhm. It's
it's not
just a guide, really. Guide talaga sa energy.
nice, nice. I like it. In psychology, Donald Winnicott talked about the true self versus the false self. He showed that when we comply with rigid external expectation early in life, mga bata pa tayo, we build a defensive false self to please others. Over time, living through that false persona causes deep psychological fatigue because our true self is being actively suppressed. Human
Yeah.
design calls this conditioning.
Yun,
And
I think
makaka-relate tayo lahat.
yes, I think diyan sa part na sinabi mo yung sinasabing false self, that's what I was saying earlier. I think that can be correlated to the subconscious mind, yung false self. Lahat ng paano tayo na kondisyon or ano yung mga natutunan natin growing up, it's the false self. And yung true self natin, yung conscious mind, that's actually yun yung imbes na yun yung kailangan natin nile-live. Yun nga conscious eh, conscious.
Mm,
This is 'Pag 'pag unconscious ka pa 'di ba parang conscious ibig sabihin conscious it's when you're alive. So,
yeah.
you're letting something that is buried should be buried deep inside you, control your body. So, parang imagine it, parang kang naka-autopilot because of what others expect you to do instead of living your life according to your rules, your own shit, yung anong gusto mong gawin.
The now, like living in the now.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
It's a province, Charis. So Candice, if you could give our listeners just one practical piece of advice on how to start stripping away that conditioning and stop living by everyone else's expectations today, what would it be?
Honestly, touch grass or spend less time asking strangers how to live your life and
Yeah, sorry na
spend
tanong kita.
I mean, and spend more time paying attention to your own. Because everybody has advice, everybody has an opinion, everybody thinks they know what's best for you. But at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with your choices. So learn to listen to yourself a little more, and you might be surprised by how much you already know. Trust yourself, but stay open to being wrong. Think of that. You tried something. Yung while you're alive, habang buhay ka, the chances are endless. Habang
Mm,
gumigising ka, okay, nagkamali ako kahapon, I can still correct it. Okay.
mm.
Hindi nag-work 'tong style kong 'to, I'm gonna change my style. The moment that you think that and stop, just do it because you want to do it, hindi because I'm gonna do it because my friends think it's cool or I'm gonna do it because if I don't, they're gonna think I'm lame.
Yeah.
Dun ka nalilimitahan, eh, kasi you're babalik tayo ng babalik na you keep comparing yourself to others, but can you imagine, ang liit we're just like teeny tiny sands sa laki ng universe. We don't matter. I mean,
Mm.
'di ba, if
We're
anything
significant.
yes. So why are you depriving yourself again of experiencing experiences? Alam mo na nararamdaman mo na sa utak mo na, "I want to do it." Bakit ka nag-o-overthink na but maybe ganito yung mangyayari kapag why are you doing that?
You wouldn't know until you try.
Yes, but again, ako gano'n na, ikaw reflector ka. So maybe you need to take some time before you have to do something. Think about it
Mm.
or observe what we research about it. Pero ako as a generator nga, like, yung sa'kin, I can feel that I'm misaligned if I am frustrated. Yun yung yun yung what we call in human design, not self-esteem. So akin, if ang nangyayari nga sa'kin, yun nga yung problema ko, I have a genetic trauma of suppression, 'di ba, na I try to just suppress my own feelings na nasaktan mo ako, hindi ko masabi sa'yo, 'di ba, na, "Hey, you hurt me," or something,
Mm.
I'm just gonna suppress my emotions. Tendency ang mararamdaman ko is mafu-frustrate ako and that's a signal in my body that I am misaligned. So, kaya yung advice ko again, touch grass. If ako that's an advice that I would give myself as well, na lalabas ako and maybe I need to take a walk, maybe gets gano'n. Touch grass and
Go out there.
don't think you can have, I would say you can think that because you should think that you're the main character.
Mhm.
Yes, you can be like that because you live your own life. At the same time, don't think that others are looking at you in a magnifying glass and
Mm.
they're taking notes of what you're doing. They're not. They also are living in their own lives. Wala silang paki sa'yo. The moment na maisip mo na wala silang paki talaga sa'yo, it's gonna be easier for you to decondition yourself, I guess.
Wow, Candice, I cannot thank you enough for being here today and walking us through. Maraming salamat for your time.
Love it.
What strikes me the most about this conversation is that the human design isn't about giving you a new set of rules to follow. It's actually about giving you permission to draft the rules you've been forcing yourself to play by your entire life. As we talked about earlier with Donald Winnicott's psychology framework, so many of us are walking around exhausted because we are operating from a false self, a version of us built entirely out of survival, societal expectations, and the desperate need to fit into the mold of the what was never shaped for us. We think we need to be in the constant hustle, the flawless logic machine, or the person who never needs rest. But science and ancient wisdom both look at us and say, "Stop. You're exhausting yourself, trying to be someone you were never meant to be." So shut up, Charles. Tell yourself. If you're listening to this right now and you feel burnt out, or if you feel like you were stuck in a loop or making choices that looks good on paper but feel terrible in your gut, I want you to take a deep breath. You are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You just need to be
Amen.
remembered. Amen to that. Look up to your chart, find out your type, but more than anything, start listening to the wisdom of your body instead of the endless anxious chatter of your mind. So follow your body instead of your mind. So get late. Shut up. Give yourself the grace to experiment with your own energy. A massive thank you to Candice Reyes for sharing her
Yes.
incredible wisdom with us today on our first or premiere episode of Introduction to Human Design. And to all of you tuning in, thank you for giving us your time, your energy, and your curiosity. Until next time, stop trying to fit the mold. Live by your own design, protect your energy, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.
Stay weird.
Ciao.